Last night was tech rehearsal, and I usually love tech rehearsal because it's a really good opportunity to see all the props for the first time, the lighting, see how the stage managers move the props backwards and forwards, hear what the sound's going to be like, to see the action on the stage for the first time. Now, the theatre where Shrek is taking place is one of these ones that it's in a semicircle, and the stage is an apron stage. So instead of being a flat stage, it comes out like this, which works very well for me because I've had a couple of weeks off because of COVID. So I haven't been able to go to rehearsals and see the role shift. And as it turns out, they keep changing the positions of the cast members anyway. So it wouldn't have done me any good in any event. So get to the theatre last night, and I was obscenely early. I always am. I was about an hour and a half early. And then they didn't start the actual tech rehearsal 45 minutes late anyway. So I could have just stayed at home and had a bath and had something to eat and turned up at 8 o'clock and still been early. Anyway, so I get there last night. And the day before at Bank Hall, they showed me where I was going to be standing. Like, yeah, all right, that looks reasonable. But I got there last night, and there's a giant speaker there. It's one of these things that's on a stand on a pole, and then the speaker's there, and this little tiny speaker next to it. So I went over and had a look, and that's where I'm supposed to be standing. So I go and introduce myself to the sound guys. Hello, this is who I am. This is where I'll be standing, apparently. And they went, well, we can't move that speaker. The big speaker is for the audience, and the little speaker is so that the people on the stage can hear what's going on. I'm like, all right, let me go and have another look. So I go back down onto the stage, and between where the main speaker on this stand is and the wall is about 2 feet. So I go back to the sound guys when they've got 5 minutes and say to them, look, that big speaker on the stand could move that direction 2 feet, and then we could put the little speaker a foot there because the wires are long enough, and then I can stand in between with the wires behind me, sellotape to the floor obviously, and then everybody will be happy. And he went, well, yeah, all right, we'll do that. So they moved the speaker, I moved the little speaker, I now have my place to stand. Hooray. Then I said to the light guys, the sound and light guys, I'm going to need a low spot, like a purple, blue, not green for the love of God. I don't want to look like a mouldy ghoul. But that's what I'm going to need. And they went, well, yeah, we don't have that. Yeah, but you don't understand. I need that. That's I need to be seen by the audience. And they said, well, you'll be seen when the house lights are up. Like, no. I need to be seen all the time, even when the house lights are down. The only time you can turn that light off is when you turn the ultraviolet on for the rat's feet. They're supposed to be glowing in the dark. But as it transpires, they've done away with the ultraviolet because the rat's feet don't show up anyway, and they just can't make it work. And they didn't know that until last night. So ultraviolet's been binned. So yeah, this light needs to stay on all the time. So they were sort of humming and hawing about it. So I just thought, do you know what, I'm going to leave it. You know now what I need. It's your job. I can't get up in the rigging and do it myself. That's your job. That's what I've told you I need, and that's what I'm going to need. So I didn't have that last night. Of course I didn't. So anyway, we start the tech rehearsal, and there's a lot of stop, start during tech because they have to work out the logistics of getting props on and props off. But quite a few of the props broke, and not a few of the others were really rickety. So Lord Farquaad's castle, the doors kept swinging open, and they had to keep trying to shut those. And then at one point, the whole thing was about to topple over. Everything has been built kind of out of MDF, so it's not as stable as you would want it to be. And there's this part where Shrek and Donkey have to cross the bridge over the boiling lava, and this bridge is just basically like a pallet with like a bridge side on it. It's just been dumped on the top of the, and it's not been secured in any way. So when they're walking across it and they're going really, really gingerly, that's real. That's not acting, because the whole thing is just so wobbly. I was really worried for them, to be honest with you, but hey, it's not me. So yeah, I came away last night feeling quite frustrated, actually, because I do not expect the theatre staff or the cast to be available to me or to want to bow to my every wish and whim, because that's what they think it is. Sometimes you'll get theatre staff who've dealt with inclusive audiences before, and they're more than happy to help. But most of the time, especially with amateur groups and theatre staff who've like been there, done that, been doing this for 30 years, they don't care. They don't care who you are. They don't care that you're going to be there for one or maybe two performances in a row of 10. Yeah, you're just an inconvenience to them. You're just getting in the way of the smooth running of their show. So you have to advocate for yourself, which is exactly what I did last night. When I realised that nobody was going to listen to what I needed or accept who I was, what I was doing there and what I needed, then I basically fended for myself, which is what you always have to do. But like I said, sometimes they're really welcoming and they can't do enough for you, and then a lot of the time they just don't want you there. So there are certain things I cannot do. I cannot fix my own spotlight, so I've got to trust these guys to do it. And last night I told them what I needed. I told them exactly where I was going to be standing. They now know that information. If I get there tonight, which is dress rehearsal, and they haven't set a spot for me, I'm going to kick off a little bit. Obviously in a polite way. But yeah, I have to advocate, not just for myself, but for the deaf audience. They need to have as good a show as everyone else in the audience. And you farting around with some half-assed spotlight is not giving them the same show. It's not. It's discriminatory. And I'm not having it. Similarly, the theatre were asked by one of the guys in the cast who's doing the social media. They were asked to block off a couple of rows of seats for deaf audience members. And they have. They've blocked off this 2 rows. Well, they kind of have. When people wanted to buy tickets specifically for that performance, they had no idea that it was a signed performance, even though it was on their website. But anyway, there's 2 rows of seats that they've blocked off. I went and sat in one, and you can't see anything because this apron stage comes out. If somebody stood there in front of you, you can't actually see around them to where I'm standing. So it's pointless. And at one point, the dragon comes out and there's all this fake smoke and you can't see anything anyway. Can't see the dragon, can't see me, can't see anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get there early tonight, not as early as last night, obviously. And I'm going to speak to the box office staff and maybe the front of house staff and say to them, look, if somebody comes in, I'm going to be in the auditorium before the show starts to look after the deaf audience. But if somebody comes in and they've got seats there specifically because that's what the theatre booked for them because they're deaf, I think we should move them further back so that way they've got a better panoramic view of what's going on the whole of the stage, and you can see me out of your periph. So if there aren't seats, if there are empty seats further back, then we'll go over and ask them if they want to move just to get a better view. And that's all part of advocating for your deaf audience. Yeah, you need to know what their requirements are. I mean, they might not want to move, and that's absolutely fine, but you're trying to give them the best experience that you can possibly give them, and the choice. Yeah, an informed decision. So yeah, bit frustrated about last night. Wasn't happy when I came away from it. My performance of the bits that we did do, because we only did the whole of Act 1 and then we top and tailed Act 2, just running out of time. They just did not have time to do everything, and that's kind of how tech goes. Tech is always an absolute disaster, and then hopefully they pull it together. I don't know if they can, but we'll see. We'll see. It's dress rehearsal tonight. So yeah, I was a little bit frustrated, and I'm a bit out of sorts today because I didn't really get much sleep last night. So, and I didn't eat properly last night because I thought, silly girl, that we were starting on time. So of course I ate before I went, and then I got home and it was like 7 hours later and I was starving. So I'm going to take something to eat with me tonight. So it's dress rehearsal tonight. I'm not happy with my cufflinks because I couldn't get any green nail varnish, so I've had to, the temporary spray that I've got, the green spray that I've got for my hair, I've had to sort of paint that onto the cufflinks, but because it's temporary it might rub off on my white shirt, so I'm a bit about that. So I'm just going to have to see, and if it does, I've got Thursday off, so Thursday morning I'm going to have to go on a green nail polish hunt and just do my best. That's all I can do. So yeah, tech's out the way. It's dress rehearsal tonight. And what I'm going to do tonight, I've decided, because I've got a speaker here and a speaker here, and where the wings are behind me, that's where the band is going to be. So it's going to be incredibly loud. So I'm going to take my earplugs with me tonight and try them out. If I can't hear anything with them in, obviously I'm just going to have to suck it up and take the hit to my hearing. But because I have very, very bad tinnitus, I don't want to make it any worse because I'm just surrounded by all this really loud noise. So I'm going to take my earplugs, see if it works out. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll see. That's the beauty of dress rehearsal. You can try something today that you might not want to do in a couple of days' time. So yeah, that was tech rehearsal, which didn't go as well as I wanted it to. I'm sure it didn't go as well as the cast wanted it to, and I'm damn sure it didn't go as well as the stage crew wanted it to. What can you do? Yeah, if they had a lot more money, they could afford more sturdy and robust props. It is the joys of being in an amateur group. So, dress rehearsal tonight. I'm going to regroup. I'm going to have a shower. It's dress rehearsal tonight. And we'll just see how that goes. And I will post another video with an update later on.